An already intense court dispute takes on a dramatic new turn with the former President Donald Trump's vehement outburst on December 19, 2023, against Judge Arthur N. Gorin and his management of the civil fraud trial in New York. Trump's allegation that Judge Engoron denigrated expert witness Eli Bartov and his passionate defense of Bartov on his Truth social media platform highlight the intensity and significant stakes in the case. I'll walk you through everything in this video. Please click the subscribe button and enable notifications before I continue. Receive breaking news from us every day. I am grateful. Trump is upset with the court system and what he sees as prejudice against him, as evidenced by his criticism of Judge Engoron for questioning Bartov's fees and ignoring his testimony. However, OFF's defense of his work and fees, which includes acknowledging some inadvertent errors in Trump's financial papers and claiming that his charging rate was customary, adds complexity to the case. It emphasizes how difficult it is to weigh expert opinions, recompense as well as legitimacy in court. A common feature in Trump's story about his legal battles is the assertion that Judge Gorin and Attorney General Letitia James are now acting against him for political reasons. His accusations of prejudice and his description of the trial as a shame point to a strong mistrust of the legal system and a sense of political persecution. Not only are these trial developments important for Trump, but they also have implications for the larger political and judicial environment. They will bring up issues with the judicial system's objectivity, the function of expert witnesses in well-known cases, and the relationship between politics and the law. The verdict in the lawsuit might have significant legal and political ramifications for Trump in the future. Additionally, for public confidence in the judicial system, as the trial unfolds, the public and legal experts will attentively observe the presentation of these accusations and defenses in court. A well-known illustration of the intricacies and issues that might surface in court cases involving well-known political personalities is the case against Trump. This case will likely significantly impact Trump and potentially reshape the handling of similar cases in the future. Alina Haber, one of the attorneys representing former President Donald Trump in his civil fraud trial, reflects the continuous political and legal drama surrounding him and his allies through her remarks. Hubbard's remarks at the Turning Point USA America Fest conference in Phoenix, Arizona, where she made a suggestion that, should Trump run and win in 2024, she might be able to obtain a position in government, show the tight bonds and fidelity within Trump's inner circle. Haber charges that President Joe Biden and his administration target Trump and his supporters in an attempt to deflect attention from their own purported transgressions, highlighting the bitter tone of the present political discourse in the U.S. and the wide gulf between the parties. In today's divisive political climate, her allegation that Biden mismanaged sensitive materials and Hunter Biden's supposed involvement in dubious activities are just two pieces of a larger narrative of counter-accusations. The audience applauded her remarks and chanted, "Trump 2024, highlighting the continued strong support Trump has from his base. Voters and current and past associates who indicate a readiness to serve in a prospective Trump administration clearly share this sentiment. The former press secretary for the White House said, Kayleigh McEnany's declaration that she is prepared to work in a Trump administration serves as more evidence of this allegiance. The Republican Party's dominance under Trump and his possible 2024 presidential run continue to be hot political issues in the United States. His persistent allegations that the 2020 election was rigged and taken from him, as well as his constant hints at a potential candidacy, inspire his supporters. His persistent allegations that the 2020 election was rigged and taken from him, along with his constant hinting at a potential candidacy, inspire his supporters and significantly influence the political environment. The civil fraud trial in New York, where Trump is accused of inflating the worth of his assets, compounds the complicated political and legal obstacles he faces. Abba's defense of Trump, claiming political motivation and announcing his innocence, is part of a larger struggle being waged in the public eye and the court of law. These events will surely continue to garner a lot of attention as they develop. What are your thoughts on shaping the conversation about Trump's legal challenges, his political prospects, and the larger dynamics of American politics in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election? Kindly share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Let's have a discussion. The judges and Gorin's doubts about Bartov's evidence and the large payment he got draw attention to the continued difficulties in evaluating its objectivity and reliability. The objectivity and reliability of expert witnesses in the well-known court cases brought against Trump National Golf Club by Alice Baiana. A new angle to the legal troubles affecting Trump and his enterprises is the allegation of workplace harassment and Alina Haber's alleged role in the compulsion to sign a non-disclosure agreement. This case has nothing to do with the controversy surrounding sensitive materials or electoral meddling. This case highlights claims of improper behavior in Trump's operations. The ongoing case regarding Trump's handling of classified material after becoming president and the gag order imposed in the election interference case, within the larger context of these legal battles, highlight the complexity and multifaceted nature of Trump's current legal situation and may exacerbate the legal and reputational challenges he faces. Trump's legal team claims that the gag order violates his First Amendment rights, which has made it a divisive topic. These rights are particularly significant, especially considering that he was a frontrunner for the presidency in 2016 and 2020. Another crucial development in these legal processes is the Federal Appeals Court's decision to expedite the review of Trump's appeal about presidential immunity. This ruling emphasizes the importance and urgency of these issues, as do the arguments set for January 9. This ruling emphasizes the importance and urgency of these issues, as do the arguments set for January 9, not only for Trump but also for any future judicial precedents. These legal challenges are receiving a lot of attention as they develop, and they will probably have a big impact on Trump's political future, the legal environment around presidential immunity and responsibility, and workplace conduct in general. The decisions made in these cases will likely impact the reliability of expert witnesses. The decisions made in these cases will probably establish significant precedents and reshape American presidential authority, legal accountability, and workplace morality. There is still much disagreement on the law in former President Donald Trump's civil fraud trial. A key component of Trump's defense strategy is to elaborate on his previous testimony in support of his admission of unintentional errors in his financial records while denying any deliberate fraud. However, the claim that no other expert was able to successfully refute his testimony further complicates the situation. Christopher Kisser's criticism of Judge Gorin's decision reflects the defense team's belief that the decision may be prejudiced and not based on the case's merits, contradicting the prosecution's story of willful financial misrepresentation. This critique is consistent with Trump's repeated claims that the lawsuit is politically motivated, the trial's emphasis on damages, and the New York Attorney General's demand for hefty fines and a ban from the state's real estate market. This critique downplays the significance of the case. Trump's strident denial of any wrongdoing and his designation of the action as a political attack heighten the intense nature of this legal dispute. The presentation of arguments from both sides and the court's ruling on the topic will be closely watched as the trial approaches its closing arguments on January 11. This matter not only holds personal importance for Trump, but also carries legal implications for financial reporting requirements and the handling of conflicts of interest in corporate operations. The result of this trial will be closely monitored since it may have a significant impact on Trump's future commercial ventures, his political ambitions, and the larger legal precedents concerning corporate accountability and transparency. The outcome of this case will probably mark a turning point in the public narrative around Trump and have an impact on U.S. legal system procedures as well as public opinion. To watch how the presidential candidates of the two major parties address immigration in their next campaign in 2024. Biden's orderly and humanitarian approach to immigration legislation stands in stark contrast to Trump's harsh immigration policy, exemplifying the wide division on this crucial issue. Trump's use of divisive and aggressive language, which some have compared to extremist rhetoric, has generated a great deal of discussion and raised questions about how it might affect public opinion. Additionally, the treatment of immigrants in the U.S. is a concern given the increasing number of migrants at the border. The treatment of immigrants in the U.S. is a concern given the increasing number of migrants at the border, which poses a challenge for Biden's administration. Trump is likely to exploit this situation to criticize Biden's approach and advance his own political agenda. This circumstance highlights the intricacy and divisiveness of U.S. immigration policy, a topic that has long caused rifts in American politics. It will be critical to track how the public responds to these diametrically opposed immigration policies and rhetoric as the campaign progresses and how it shapes the larger political conversation. Many are concerned about how Trump's remarks may affect public opinion since they cast doubt on the ability of political leaders to influence public opinion, especially with regard to immigration. The forthcoming election will be a referendum on the candidates' individual immigration policies, but it will also be a referendum on policies on such a delicate and significant matter. Additionally, it will test how American voters react to various strategies for addressing one of the most difficult and contentious topics in the country, his signature style and campaign promises. His legal issues as well as the changing attitudes inside the Republican Party will greatly influence Trump's chances of winning the primary. It is anticipated that the 2024 election will be crucial for Trump and the Republican Party. It's not only about his capacity to get over legal obstacles and win the nomination, it's also about his ability to shape the party's future. The Republican Party, on the other hand, must decide whether to stick with Trump's appeal to the populist base or to change course and seek new leadership from candidates such as Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. This decision will be made during the primaries, particularly in states that are crucial to the party's success, like Iowa, South Carolina, Nevada, and New Hampshire. The party will attentively monitor indications of its direction and the preferences of the Republican electorate. These states will have a big impact on how the candidates move forward, how the nomination process turns out, and the moral and legal ramifications of a Trump presidency should he win both the nomination and the election. Each of these states has a different political environment. Criminal indictments that are still pending further complicate the situation. Let us know what you think in the comments section below while you wait. Please give us a thumbs up if you thought this video was insightful. In a startling change of events, former President Donald J. Trump used his trademark blustery approach to reply to a recent court decision. His vehement remarks, captured on camera, captivated the country. Before we go any further, if you are new to my channel, please take a moment to click the subscribe button below and enable the notification bell so that you can receive our most recent updates. We will break everything down for you. The aforementioned court decision was much anticipated and would have a big impact on Trump's political prospects. After the verdict, Trump wasted no time in expressing his opinions. The federal court's decision was a crushing blow to Trump's legal defense team. It has to do with an ongoing probe into possible financial irregularities involving his conglomerate. Trump attempted to stop the inquiry on the grounds of presidential privilege, but the judge rejected his argument and let the investigation continue. In his statement, Trump unleashed a barrage of vitriol at the court, the investigators, and his political rivals. He began by denouncing the decision as a politically driven attack and asserting that it was part of a larger plot to damage his reputation and overthrow his administration. Trump claimed, "Everything we've achieved is being attempted to be destroyed by the corrupt establishment, which is led by radical left-wing activists dressed as judges. This decision is a shameful betrayal of the American people's desire for me to lead them in rebuilding their nation." Trump continued by charging that the investigators were prejudiced and that they were pursuing a personal grudge. He asserted that their motivation was to undermine his achievements and cast doubt on his presidency. In addition, he charged that the court was operating dishonestly and implied that they were purposefully disregarding evidence that would have cleared him. In addition, the former president harshly criticized his political rivals in his address. He specifically targeted the Democratic Party, denouncing them as extreme socialists engaged in a political witch hunt against him through the court system. They are trying to subvert the democratic will of the American people, according to Trump. Trump's address had a harsh tone, but it did not offer any new information or legal defenses to refute the court's decision. Instead, the address focused on mobilizing his followers and framing the decision as a challenge to his presidency. This strategy fits with Trump's aggressive demeanor, in which he frequently tries to energize his supporters by painting himself as the victim of an unjust system. Legal and political experts quickly offered their opinions on Trump's reaction. His remarks, according to some, were an attempt to weaken public confidence in the legal system and delegitimize the court's authority. Some saw it as a well-thought-out attempt to galvanize his supporters and strengthen his image as a political outsider taking on the establishment. Discussions over the boundaries of executive privilege and the judiciary's role in holding the president responsible have resurfaced in light of the court decision and Trump's response. Trump's tactics to evade legal scrutiny, according to his detractors, compromise the idea of equal justice under the law. On the other hand, proponents argue that the probe is politically motivated and an attempt by his opponents to seize power. It will be interesting to observe how this court decision affects Trump's political prospects while the legal struggle rages on. Some predict that it will further damage his reputation among independents and moderates, while others think it will merely energize his core supporters and strengthen their allegiance to the outgoing president. To sum up, the recent court decision severely damaged Donald Trump's legal case, which prompted the former president to respond angrily. Trump intended his accusatory and divisive comment to incite his supporters and undermine the verdict. The former president is once again in the national spotlight as a result of the court's ruling and Trump's response, rekindling discussions about executive privilege, responsibility, and the direction of American politics. Please share your thoughts on this. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you seeing.